Hello everybody and welcome to Getting Stuff Painted, my bi-weekly update, give or take, on the miniatures I've been painting for the games we cover here on the channel. We've got quite a plethora of things to cover today, including one brand new game that will be coming to the channel, at least in a small part to start with, to try out, and some regulars as well. So we have got a lot to talk about. We'll go from left to right as normal, but we have a clump of things to talk about, from Call to Arms, the Elder Scrolls themed game by Modiphius, who also does Fallout Wasteland Warfare, which we have here. We've got the Dark Souls board game. We have a big chunk of official and one non-official miniature for Marvel Crisis Protocol as well. Again, as always, done in contrast paint, including some of the new releases from Citadel in the contrast paint line, trying them out and seeing how they do. So, as always, let's get started. So what you're going to see here from the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms game by Modiphius is the contents of the, it's called the Delve Starter Set, I believe. The reason I picked that up is kind of twofold. One, I found a really good deal on eBay from a local seller who was selling the core box for the game and the Imperial Starter Set for a very low price. It was priced to move, as they say. So I picked them up to give it a try. And at the same time, I was talking to a friend about this. I guess we can take a look at some of the miniatures while I'm blathering about this, but it's just something to note that it's a bit weird with Modiphius miniatures in particular. Although first, 3 Draugrs with great swords, Dragonborn, Draugr Overlord, and 3 skeletons with bows. And we'll just take a look at them and I'll talk about the colours in a second here. But interesting thing with Modiphius's models is you really need to shop around if you're shopping for Fallout Wasteland Warfare or this Call to Arms games, because I found some fantastic deals on Call to Arms miniatures, much like in the same way I have for Wasteland Warfare. And as far as I can tell, it's because shops that don't normally focus on miniature games picked up some of their line, probably because of their association with the video games on which they're based. This is not getting into focus, is it? Having real problems with this one for some reason. So obviously Skyrim was a huge game, and that's the main Elder Scrolls game that Call to Arms is based on. That's what these enemies are from and what the Dragonborn's based on, etc. And Fallout 4 was a huge game, and New Vegas even more so, which is what Wasteland Warfare is based on. So it seems like, and at least I can say as much for UK stores and also some European stores, which is where my friend I was talking to this about is from. It looks like kind of like toy stores and stores more focused on board games picked up those lines because of their popularity with the video games, and didn't really know what to do with them and had the stock sitting for a while, and then just started reducing the price. And it really widely varies the kind of prices you can find. Like, I'm trying to think of a specific example. I found, actually I do have one here. I have one right here I can show you and prove it. I found, what is this called? Adventure Allies, which is some followers from the video game, but also you can just use them as like Dragonborn stand-ins if you want to play as different races. I found this for, I believe, like £14, just at a random online toy store in the UK. And I'm pretty sure the best price I could find on some of the usual places I go for miniatures was like 30. No, not 30, I think it was like 26. 25, 26, that kind of range. And if you buy from Modiphius directly, it's even more. So it is a game you can get into fairly cheaply if you're willing to just put the legwork in and shop around a little bit, because for whatever reason a bunch of retailers picked up the products, didn't know what they were or what to do with them, and as a result is just trying to get rid of them or just selling them at a massive discount. So if you shop around, you can get a fantastic deal. And on that note, that is why I've decided to buy into this and give it a go. And it plays exceptionally similarly to Wasteland Warfare, which I also enjoy. So in terms of the colours, to get back to the point of these videos rather than rambling, I apologise, although we are almost done looking at them. Skeletal Horde plus Agrat Shade for the skeletons, a little bit of Snakebite Leather across all of them. I used Dark Oath Flesh for the Draugr Flesh tones, and copious amounts of Nuln Oil over anything silver to give it that nice detailed look, especially on the Dragonborn's shield. I think it really picked out the details there. It's really nice. Although one thing about the Dragonborn, these are the plastic set. They usually do their usual, like they do for Wasteland Warfare, they do resin miniatures, but they started by doing plastic, but they stopped, I think, because people complained it was too hard to assemble them. For the most part, if you have ever assembled a 40k miniature in your time, these are fine. That said though, the connector for this arm for the Dragonborn was terrible. It did not go in well at all. I tried to sort it, ended up pulling and bending the arm slightly, so if I touch it too much, it will break off now. So that's the only problem I had. The rest were totally fine, they went together perfectly. And for the bases, it's just a little bit of flock, PVA on the base, flock, dust, sand, and then some of the Citadel snow effect paint as well splotted on. Unfortunately, because I tipped them all to the side, some of the grass has now fallen off, so I'm going to move these slightly, clean the table, and be back in a second. Alright, cleaned up as best I can at the moment. Let's talk about the big old smo at the back before we go into Wasteland Warfare. For Call to Arms, just a last note on it, not sure when it will be appearing. I'll probably do a little kind of test video, see how that does, and then going forwards I have some ideas about how to do kind of smaller scale one shot or like 1 to 3 part mini adventures, kind of similar to Wasteland Warfare, but not as grand scale and not as not season long stories and whatnot, but we'll see. Ideas are percolating. Anyway, I'm going to show off Smo here because the video that went live yesterday with Smo in it for you lot, you're not going to get to see Smo getting fought because I died. Couldn't get to the boss. So I painted this up for absolutely no reason because we didn't get to the boss. Also, as nice as the sculpts for the Dark Souls board game is by Steamforged, the packaging it shipped in was awful and led to stuff like this where it's just bent and broken, and if I try and write it, it's going to snap. The Sif I got from the expansions, the Kickstarter stretch goal stuff, it's got a bent sword. With the Onion Knight armor I think I've shown off in this series had a bent sword. It's a shame because they're so lovely in terms of detail that they just wrecked it with their packaging being restrictive and doing this to it, because it should be straight. Either way, this was super quick. I spray painted it in Grey Seer. I used Nazdrag yellow across the whole thing, black on the base followed by a normal black paint to give it the matte black finish. Took about 10 minutes and then that was it. It was literally, I didn't even use a wash. It was like, that looks good enough thanks to all the details on the miniature itself, just letting the paint sink into it. It's a shame we didn't get to see Smo smash my knight's face in, but hey, there's always the future and the potential new rulebook that they'll be doing for the Dark Souls board game. But either way, at least I did it, I suppose. It's done. It's one of the nicer looking big minis that came in the core box for the board game, along with like the Titanite Demon we showed off last time and that kind of thing. So I'm glad I got it done. And I had Ornstein done from ages ago, so it's nice having O and S together. So I do have a bit of a story to tell also about these two rad scorpions that I've chosen to paint up like irradiated rad scorpions, just because I think they look cooler. In that you can't usually find these third party. Modiphius seems to sell them only on their web store. I think they might be an exclusive at some point. And unfortunately the place I did find selling them, which sold them for a very good price, the packaging was old and ruptured and it came to me in pieces. And as a result, both my rad scorpions have had disabilities. This one's lost a back leg. It just came like that. It wasn't a case of breaking off. The bit just wasn't there. And this one is missing, what was he missing? Oh, part of that leg. Like, they just weren't there, unfortunately. But in terms of how I wanted to paint these, I saw some people online who painted them like this, so I wanted to do that. So I applied Biotan Green Wash on top of the base coat, Grey Seer. On top of that, I used Black Legion, the new black contrast paint, to let some of the green shine through. Then I used Tesseract Glow on all the bits that are especially bright, like the pincer, the eyes, the underclaws, the mandibles, if that's the right term. And then just snake bite leather through the base with a little bit of the Tesseract Glow leaking down onto the base. So they're quite fragile as well. The pincers on one of them was broken, but thankfully it was still in the box. Like, I did my best to try and reconnect it properly there. So they're a bit fragile, and not on the table. On the table, in terms of rolls, they're very, very scary, which is also why I wanted to paint them like the super tough irradiated ones, because they're no pushover, and you should be seeing those. Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler, but I think you'll be seeing those in the video that's going live tomorrow, and I just felt a ball getting dropped on my foot, so I'm going to have to see to that before we talk about the Nightkin. Alright, so of the Nightkin, you will have seen this one already if you follow the Wasteland Warfare series, because I fitted it into the episode from last week, or the week before last at this point. Either way, yeah, it would have been the week before last. So he's got an incinerator, and this one is just armed with a rebar club, but let's just take a look. didn't do a great paint job on them, to be honest. Silver for the gun with the Army Painter rust, or dry rust it's called, over the top to give it that used and horrible look. Skin tone is Talassar blue, the hood is snakebite leather, the poncho is wildwood with skeletal horde for the lighter parts, and then just dabs of colour on the ends to try and match the official paint job. It's wildwood for the straps around their ankles and wrists as well. And then a lot of Basilicanum grey for their bases, because they've got quite stony themed bases with scaffolding and stuff. I think that's because you mostly find them in the mountainous regions, because they're hiding away other than Jacobstown. Marcustown? The town that Marcus is in, that's called Jacobstown, I think. I don't quite remember now from New Vegas. That's where the Nightkin are hiding in New Vegas. And on the mountain with Tabitha. So this is the second one I painted. Oh yeah, they have ice skates strapped to their wrists. Both of them do, and I don't remember if that... I guess they must have it in the video game. I don't remember that, or maybe I've just never noticed, and I'm not sure what the relevancy is for that. Oh yeah, and he's got a stop sign as a shield as well. That's some Blood Angels red. Actually no, I think that was Bal red I used, the red contrast. But other than that, exact same colours. He's got a stealth boy on his base, of course, because Nightkin love stealth boys. They love not being perceived. John Cena is their favourite wrestler, and they get very upset if you notice them, senpai. So they come in a set together in a box. Again, that's another box I found dirt cheap, and was interested in adding them to the super mutants that we can potentially face in the series. So finally this week we have the Winter Guard for Marvel Crisis Protocol, the official releases. If you hear that sound, that's my dog getting annoyed and throwing a toy around, because I started talking again instead of throwing a toy. So you've seen these in the Battle Report. This is the official releases, the Winter Guard, and tangentially connected, I guess, because he's also Russian. We have a third-party sculpt for the Unstoppable Colossus, which is an official Ultimate Encounter versus an AI-controlled Colossus who has Juggernaut's powers. They don't have official miniatures for their Ultimate Encounters, so third-party sculptors were like, we'll do it. And it's actually probably the best one I've seen to date in terms, like, this would not have looked out of place in terms of quality alongside any other official miniature. And I know I said that for the last set of 3D miniatures we looked at, like the 3D prints, the Scarlet Witch I did. This one tops it, I feel. So let's look at the Winter Guard first. Let's look at the official releases. This is... oh, you know what? I can't remember what red I used for Red Guardian. I think it was just Blood Angels red. I think Bal red... you know what? I did Bal red on Colossus here. Yeah, you can tell it's two different shades. That's Bal red, this is Blood Angels red, and that's Flesh Terror red. Basically, we've got the three big red contrast paints on show here. We just don't have the orange one that they've released as part of the new wave. So that's what I use for his suit. The base coat is just what the white parts are, with a little bit of non-oil over the top, and Basilicanum grey for his Red Star shield. Again, some of the textured snow paint that Citadel does, exactly the same as on the Draugrs and whatnot over there. And then for Ursa Major, his power is he's a bear. That's just a whole load of snakebite leather applied, some Volupus pink for his tongue, just the base coat for his teeth, a dab of yellow for his eyes, and that's it. All the detail is from just the paint sinking into the recesses of the sculpt's fur, which is just as well that it is so sculpted, because I have no idea how to paint a fur type effect. I tried with Malekith's tiger dragon thing, didn't really work. So I feel this works though. I should point out I used a base for him, one of the official bases, but I used the base for him that has the raised kind of curb at the back here, and I positioned him such that he's standing on it. The official paint job, or the official posing, is he's supposed to be rearing back kind of like he's roaring like that, but because I positioned him up on that, it looks more like he's coming in for a swing with his big bear claw, and I thought that looked more threatening and better. I like that better than the idea of him roaring. I wanted to make him look like what he is, which is an aggressive bear that chucks you around and applies stagger effect to you. Then we have Darkstar. This gave me the chance to use a new contrast paint, which I've never used from the new line. This is the other new purple, and I think this is the one called Leviathan purple, or Levadon purple. It's one of the two. It's not the other new one I've been talking about, and it's a really nice effect. It's what Shyless purple should have been, in my opinion. This is the kind of colour I expected from Shyless purple. and we get it with this one, and it looks real nice. I didn't do anything else to it. It doesn't have a wash over or anything. That's straight up just the contrast paints effect there. That is Imperial Fist Yellow for the yellow parts of her costume, and Black Legion for her black jumpsuit, and Skeletal Horde for her light blonde hair. Pretty neat. Kind of the same pose, kind of like different swirls obviously, but kind of similar to the official Scarlet Witch mini. And then we have Crimson Dynamo. As previously stated, he was done in Talassar Red with a little bit of Imperial Fist Yellow and the Yandin Yellow to try and create a glow effect. Not sure if it really worked or not. He's a nice chunky mech suit. I like chunky mech suits. I have a soft spot for them. So he's pretty neat with his electric generator on his back as well. Pretty basic miniature obviously. Leadbelcher Silver for the silver parts, non-oil over those. And I think I used the new red wash. Corn Berserker wash or something it's called. It was released alongside the new contrast paints. I used that. I honestly am not 100% keen on the effect, but just the right amount of lightness on the raised sections for like his legs and his shoulders, it kind of works. Kind of. And then the unofficial 3D sculpt of Colossus with Juggernaut's powers, aka Unstoppable Colossus. Really nice miniature. Again, you'd be hard pushed to presume this is a third party sculpt. This looks official. The Bow Red, the new contrast Bow Red for the red parts of his jumpsuit. I used the Imperial Fist Yellow for the yellow parts, but then I used the Yandin Yellow in the parts where there should be a little bit more definition, and I think that worked. I think it worked out a little bit better. Obviously Leadbelcher Silver for his silver skin with some non-oil to add depth. And that's about it really. It's a super simple miniature, but it looks really nice. And I'm hoping to find the time to try that AI controlled Ultimate Encounter quite soon. Probably not the next video after the Winter Guard one or whatever went live, but maybe after that. If not, then definitely the 100th battle report, which is coming up. I think we're on like 95 now or something, 96 maybe. So that is going to do it for what has been painted for another week. Got quite a lot done, and there's a lot more to come. As I say, I've been collecting any deal I can find on Call to Arms stuff, so there's definitely going to be some more of that next time. I did manage to pick up some stuff for Wasteland Warfare. I found an amazing deal on the Institute starter set, which has like 9 minis in it. I found it for £17 on some website, but sadly they then contacted me and said, oh yeah, sorry, this is actually out of stock. I'm not sure I believe them, but I almost had an amazing deal, and I'm Scottish, so we like getting good deals. But there's going to be some Wasteland Warfare stuff. The newest Night Models releases are on the way. If I got them before you hear this, then the unboxing will probably have already gone live, but that will give me some more Batman stuff to paint, which I'm looking forward to. Beyond that though, I'm not sure. I'm not doing any more Dark Souls board game stuff for now. I might return when the new rulebook is out, but I do have some stuff in the backlog. I just haven't got around to, like a bunch of stuff for the DC Universe miniature game, a bunch of stuff for Don't Look Back. There's a lot of stuff I could be doing, but I'm just trying to vary it up a little bit, and I think it's nice to bring Call to Arms in as well, as just it's stuff I haven't painted. Zombies, skeletons, don't really do fantasy setting stuff much, so it's a nice change of pace. But anyway, if you want to show me what you've been painting, feel free to do so on Twitter. It is linked in the description box below, and I hope this helped encourage you to get through your pile of grey shame. It doesn't matter how good you are at painting, the point is you enjoy doing it, and then use the painted results afterwards. It's fine. Have you seen the kind of paint jobs people who play serious tournaments do just to get around the not allowed to use unpainted models rule? That will inspire you to be a better painter if you ever look at those. Anyway, if you enjoyed, please do consider subscribing to see more. I do these painting updates every couple of weeks. Or if you want to support what we do here, consider the thanks button, becoming a member, or checking out the Patreon. Enjoy the rest of your day though, and I will see you again. You'll be hearing this on a Thursday, I believe, so that probably means I will see you tomorrow for some Wasteland Warfare. Until then, ta-ta for now.